When you think of Celine Dion, you think of BDE, as in Big Diva Energy. Her new documentary, I Am Celine Dion, which began streaming on Amazon Prime this week, it brings the superstar all the way down to earth. It covers her whole life, how she became the powerhouse force behind Because You Loved Me, It's All Coming Back to Me, and of course, My Heart Will Go On. But it also gets into the titanic struggle that Celine has had with stiff person syndrome in heartbreaking detail. I mean, you're gonna need a full box of tissues to cry right along with Celine for this one. But man, it is so brave of her to let us see it. Hardest of all though, when you gotta watch her have a seizure and the cameras, they kept right on rolling. You would think that most divas, they wouldn't want that footage to ever see the light of day, but not Celine. For that, we see her in a whole new and stronger light. But you know what, Celine? We know you got this. And now we got a next generation diva, Camila Cabello. She's back with her new album, XOXO. It's her fourth album since going solo from Fifth Harmony. And how the hell did that ever happen? I mean, wasn't she just like breaking up the group? Well, since then, she hasn't exactly become the next Beyonce, but who has? Don't get it twisted, she still had hits like Havana, which hit #1 back in 2017, and Señorita, another #1 that she had with Shawn Mendes back when they were all brewed up. And on her new album, Camila collabs with everyone from Playboy Cardi to Lil Nas X to Young Miami. But the A+ list guest? Drake. He shows up on not one, but 2 tracks. And my jam on Camila's new album, it's their joint, Hot Uptown. Which is hot for real, y'all. It takes you back to the house vibes of Drake's 2022 album, Honestly Nevermind. And it almost kind of reminds me a little bit of his Take Care collab with Rihanna. Y'all remember that one, right? There's other bops and ballads on the album, but it's a little kind of all over the place. And I don't hear another chart topper, to be honest. Still, Camila, you're still getting some XOXO from me. It is BET Awards weekend, and one of the buzz artists who will be rocking the stage on Sunday night in LA is rising R&B star Honey Bxby. And you know there's an X where that A is supposed to be. And she's showing that there's much more to Asbury Park than the boss, Bruce Springsteen, y'all. I caught up with Honey, and she broke down why she's embracing that sexual empowerment movement of female artists like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Check it out. So, I know you were an exotic dancer for a minute, and some of your music is very sex positive, and we're kind of in this kind of post Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion world where a lot of women of color are being more, it's kind of empowering sexually with their music. And tell me about that and why that's important for you.
I feel like it's important for me because I'm definitely the type of person that loves to express myself, and especially like if I want to go out and I want to go have a good time, no matter what I'm doing or who I'm doing it with, I should be able to do that just as much as men are able to do it. I feel like for a very long time, a lot of people try to make it seem like females have to be stuck in this little ball away from the world, and we can't do this and we can't do that and we can't act like this. That's not how a lady's supposed to act, blah, blah, blah. And like, truthfully, honestly, there's so many women in the world that just don't give a
This weekend is also the big New York City Pride weekend to close out Pride Month as only New York can. And as a little warm-up for the festivities, I kind of dipped my toe and stepped out very late on a Tuesday night, a school night, right? To Adam Lambert's Pride Party atop the Standard High Line in the Meatpacking District. Here with me to dish all about it, my girl, Page 6 anchor and 103.5 KTU radio personality, Astra.
Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited.
Anytime. I really, really appreciate feeling the love every time you come in here, so.
I need to know about this party because Adam Lambert's been one of my favorites since American Idol days.
Yeah.
So take me through what happened.
Well, first of all, it's by Susanne Bartsch was throwing the party, and she's like the queen of New York nightlife. She's a legend, and she has this hot party called On Top every Tuesday night. All the boys come out for it. Some of them maybe are just a little bit younger than me. Mm-hmm. But it was hot. Everybody was up on the roof, chilling and vibing, looking over the city. And, you know, then Adam showed up.
So I know that she is or was one of the judges on Drag Race.
Yes.
Any of the drag queens come out?
Well, you know what? There's always fabulous drag queens at any Susanne Bartsch function. And they were absolutely there in the house. But you know, Adam, he can keep up with the drag queens with his looks and the makeup, and he's pretty fabulous himself.
Did he perform?
He did not, no, but he does have an EP coming out. It's gonna be out a little bit later in July, and it's called Afters.
I mean, maybe he'll make an appearance at the Pride Parade here in New York City, who knows?
I'm sure he's gonna be in town.
I can't wait to hear what happens at the parade.
There's gonna be a lot of folks out there, so you never know.
I will have my glitter all over.
All right now, look fabulous. It is not an understatement when I tell you that Prince's Purple Rain soundtrack, it changed my life after it came out 40 years ago this week on June 25th, 1984. As you can see, I wore that vinyl out after scraping my coins together as a little shorty to buy it. That cover, I mean, let's start right there. There's Prince in all his purple glory on his purple motorcycle. He was the flyest, funkiest man I'd ever seen. The music was nothing short of revolutionary. From Let's Go Crazy to When Doves Cry to, of course, the epic title track. And that was all a month before the release of the hit movie, which will actually be back in theaters on July 3rd. So check that out. In honor of Purple Rain's 40th anniversary, let's throw it back to some of my other favorite soundtracks. Let's kick it off with the Smash Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, which had everybody twirling and doing the hustle under that disco ball back in 1977. John Travolta, he may have been the star of the movie, but the Bee Gees, they were the stars of the soundtrack. And whenever Staying Alive comes on, to this day, trust, disco is no longer dead. Just like the Bee Gees were the masterminds behind that Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, Babyface was the man behind all those female feels on the 1995 Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Face wrote and produced for a stellar cast of soul sisters. I mean, legends all, from Aretha Franklin and Mary J. Blige to Chaka Khan and Patti LaBelle to Toni Braxton and Brandy. I mean, it was a who's who. And of course, there was Whitney Houston, who also starred in the film. And I'ma just say it right now, this beats the Bodyguard soundtrack for me. Fight me on that one. Next up is another soulful soundtrack. This to the 1974 movie Claudine, starring the legendary Diane Carroll, who was actually nominated for a Best Actress Oscar. But the soundtrack belonged to another black queen, Gladys Knight. And of course, the Pips. And rounding out my playlist is the 2018 Black Panther soundtrack. I just have two words for you on this one. Kendrick Lamar. He did the damn thing curating this soundtrack and rocking the mic on tracks like the Scissor Joint, All the Stars. He did it all while also taking us back to the motherland, Africa.